and welcome to VB 411. I'm your host, Miz Information, back again to bring truth and clarity to misinformation and rumors. Today's main topic, do's and don'ts for operating a drone, or UAS, unmanned aerial system, in the airspace around Virginia Beach. Now, drones have become increasingly popular in recent years. Some are fairly inexpensive, and they are relatively easy to fly and can capture some fantastic pictures and video. But it's not as simple as taking it out of the box and flying it around, especially here in Virginia Beach. So, what are the rules and why are they necessary? Before we get started, a disclaimer. This episode isn't going to cover all the regulations that govern UAS operations. We'll address some of the basic concerns about flying in and around Virginia Beach, but drone operators should familiarize themselves with Federal Aviation Administration rules and the local restrictions on drone operations. For many good reasons, with safety at the top of the list, the FAA has some pretty strict rules about where and how a drone can be operated. Now, many visitors may be unaware of the airspace restrictions in our area, and others may just ignore them. Frankly, we've seen too many drones flying in restricted airspace and heard about too many close calls with aircraft to ignore the problem and the potential for disaster. So what's the deal? Well, there are two types of drone UAS flying: commercial operations flying and hobbyist flying. Commercial drone operators take special training and must have FAA certifications and authorizations to fly for compensation in the national airspace system. Hobbyist flying does not require the same certification, but is still subject to the same rules. And that's where there's a bit of confusion. Now, with our proximity to Norfolk International Airport, Naval Air Station Oceana, and Fentress Airfield, there is a lot of restricted airspace, especially in the northern half of the city and the southern border with Chesapeake near Fentress. Additionally, flying over an active military base isn't just prohibited. Pointing a camera at it is illegal. Military installations have what's called a zero bubble around their airspace, meaning no drones, period. Now take a look at this map and you'll see what a 5-mile restriction covers. One of our most popular places to fly are oceanfront, which is included in this airspace and requires notification and/or permission. Violating restricted airspace is so serious that offenders are reported to the FAA, which can assess civil fines and revoke a pilot's license or drone registration. Airspace isn't the only consideration. Flying at night or over people are special circumstances that require waivers and authorizations. And drones flying at night must be outfitted with anti-collision strobe lights, which must be seen from at least 3 miles away by manned aircraft. Additionally, all drone pilots must see and avoid manned aircraft, as well as give way to manned aircraft. How? Land or come to a very low hover below the tallest obstacle within a 200-foot radius of your drone. Now, for non-commercial hobbyist use, which is not for money or other compensation, drone operators can fly in controlled airspace as long as they have permission from an airfield within 5 miles of where they want to fly. The FAA is set to launch a new feature on the FAA.gov website called LAANC, Low Altitude Authorization and Notification Capability, where drone operators can request permission from local air traffic controllers to fly in restricted airspace and receive an answer in a matter of minutes. However, military bases and their airspace are not included in the new link request. If the airspace is unrestricted, commercial pilots and hobbyists are free to fly their drones, provided they follow all other FAA and state regulations. So why all the restrictions? Well, simply put, drones pose a danger to aircraft operating in the area. In fact, piloted aircraft have to report their speed, altitude, and heading regularly so air traffic controllers can safely direct them around each other. If there's an unauthorized or unaccounted drone operating in the same airspace, air traffic controllers and pilots may not be aware of it until it's too late. For professionals or enthusiasts who fly, the FAA has a free app for Android and iOS devices called Before You Fly. that assist pilots in determining if they're in controlled or restricted airspace. When in doubt, ask permission before taking flight. For more information about FAA rules, regulations, and registration, please visit www.faa.gov/UAS. For drone laws specific to Virginia, please visit the Virginia Department of Aviation website at www.doav.virginia.gov. And now you're in the know. Thanks for joining me. Is there something you'd like to see us cover? Send your ideas to misinfo@vbgov.com. See you next time.